Pack your bags, it's time to hit the Comic-Con highway and find out where this week's Comic-Cons, signings, and events are taking place. And even where to find your favorite creators and where they're going to be this weekend. This show is brought to you by Geek Insider. Get your geek card updated and stay in the geek and know by joining and subscribing to Geek Insider today. ComicBookAdvocates.com, where the love of comics comes first. And ConventionScene.com, where you can see up to an entire year of conventions and make your plans well in advance. Thank you for joining us today for the forecast. We're going to tell you where you should be heading and what is going on this weekend on the COMiX CON Forecast. So buckle up. This show is announced by Mr. Anderson, the Comics Advocate. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are recording this on January 24th, 21. So this is going to be the reality of the situation right now, that I don't know the next time we're going to be recording this right now. This could be a video that lasts for a couple weeks. Hopefully no more than that. We're going to get into it right now. We don't really have a forecast for you per se, but we're going to look at the bigger thing. Look, it is time. It is time for us to get active and start planning our Comic-Con forecast as creators, as fans, as someone who wants to do press and panels. Now is the time to start filling those out. Let me tell you, here's my perception of the year, and we're going to get into it in just a second, a little deeper. What's going to happen is that everything's going to open up and things are going to get crazy really quickly, and your applications are going to get lost. You're going to get mixed up in the shuffle. There are a couple shows that are planning to go ahead. Now is the time to start making those plans and to start looking at the map. There are going to be changes. This was always going to be a bumpy year. There are a lot of conventions that aren't even updating their fans yet because they're kind of waiting to see what happens. As of recording this on the 21st of January, a new administration is fully taking over for the first day today. Yesterday was Inauguration Day. Today is basically their first day in office. So we don't know the changes that are going to happen. We do know there's a vaccine. We all know the vaccine is going to end this. It's now about knowing when it's going to end it. And if we're lucky, the sooner the better. So we are definitely looking at some grain of salt moments in here. And I'm going to be honest with you, some of these things might not happen as much as we want them to. We're going to do the best to report what we know right now and give you guys the opportunity to decide what's best for you. All right, so here we go. We're looking at 21. Our partners over Convention Scene recently did a clean. They cleaned out a lot of bad events, but we don't know what's good and bad until they announce. So this is going to be a year, and I'm going to stress this for you creators watching this today and even the fans. This is going to be the year of smaller conventions. This is when smaller conventions come back. They're going to pop up a lot quicker. They're going to be organized a lot faster, and they're going to happen a lot closer to home. So be aware. You're going to have to start checking more local areas. I'm looking up local shows now, and I have things popping up on the radar. Hey, what's going on, Trish? One of the things I was noticing is if I Google, and I'll show you guys this right now. So this is one of the cons that are happening. But if I just Google Comic-Con, generally speaking, this should happen for you guys. Sometimes there'll be something that pops up in the corner. It'll start giving you, see over here, you get some things. I mean, and here it is for me, just local things start to pop up. So you can do a Comic-Con that way. You can try to look at Comic-Cons where you are. So for me, I would do Comic-Cons in Florida. And suddenly, here we go. So now I start getting these rows of Comic-Cons. And this is from upcoming Florida convention. You see how I get in this? You guys can see already. Canceled, postponed. Pensacon, by the way, is postponed. There's going to be a comic book tent show on the 31st. MegaCon's been postponed. We'll get to that in a few minutes. MyCon sounds like it's still going to be going. Central Florida Comic-Con we'll get to. We're going to get to these a little further out. But right now in this sweet spot of, let's say, January to April, we really don't know what's going on. To be honest with you, we don't. We don't know the situation. Good morning, Trish. Good morning, George. How you all doing? We don't know the situation right now, guys. We really don't. So we're bringing you the best we can right now. And with that in mind, WonderCon scheduled for April 17th. I'm gonna say that this is basically a long shot at this point. Seeing the numbers the way they are, we are about. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The announced dates are the 26th through the 28th of March, not April. April was when they posted it last year after they postponed it. I'm going to say like a month from now, this show ain't happening. WonderCon isn't going to happen. They haven't, of course, I checked. As far as I can tell, the latest update they had was in July. They haven't postponed it, but I haven't seen them advertise it. I think they know it's not happening. They just haven't said it. So WonderCon looks like it's very much on the fence right now. I would not expect it to happen. Wouldn't expect any major shows in March. MegaCon moved out of March because they saw what's coming, and I don't see it happening in March. In February, definitely not. March, no. April, I could see it start opening up. But again, in April, I think we're going to see smaller shows. This is very geared towards the much bigger shows, because I can't look at every small show and gamble on it. So I tried to give you guys the bigger shows, the ones I think that might happen. With that in mind, I do think there's a good possibility that we'll see at the beginning of May, the 25th annual Big Apple Comic-Con. I've been going to that since probably the first or second year of the Big Apple Comic-Con. That's how often I'd been going to that one. I know they took a couple of years off. This was the one right next to Penn Station. I'm not sure if they're going to go to Penn Station, right across the street from Penn Station again. Definitely one of my more, I guess it's one of my warmer memories from being a kid. I took my sister there when she was huge into comics. So it definitely is a show that I suggest, and I'd love to see that. That could possibly be this could be, if Big Apple Comic-Con happens on May 1st, believe it or not, that'll be when You're Not Alone will end. I have promised to do You're Not Alone until the first major Comic-Con, and as of right now, that looks like it could be it. So May 1st, so I have a long time to go. Trish says, I don't see shows over 10,000 people until late summer. I think summer. I'm with you, Trish. I thought for a while spring, they kind of have botched in America the getting the vaccines out right now, so spring is a very big iffy. But summer, I could see. All of summer, I think, will be okay. That's why I'm calling. I think May 1st will happen, even in New York. May 29th through the 30th, Bradenton Area Convention Center. I am filling out this form today. If you're a creator in Florida, you should too. I'm going to sign up, and I'm going to, like many creators, I don't exactly have the money to go out of pocket. I'm hoping I can sign up, and they can, give me a few weeks to gather the scratch together to get it done. So this is it. This is all we have for May. Usually we'd be talking about, in the month of May alone, 50 conventions throughout the whole month. Right now, those are the only two I can confirm that are still planning to go forward according to their sites. Then we go into June, and we have already had a convention rescheduled, Central Florida Comic-Con. I like this show. I will be signing up in the next day or two. Again, you guys should be signing up too, and I'm leaving the links for you guys on Twitter and in the feed. The actual link is in there. So this is another big show, June 12th through the 13th. I think this one is definitely going to happen, especially being in Florida. I say we're going to be at Central Florida Comic-Con. This might be my biggest show of the year. I don't know. Suncoast Comic-Con might be my biggest show of the year in a year. And then I'll just go to an even bigger show in June. And in July, we have, let's stay in June, because we still have Heroes Con, which Heroes Con's happening in, I believe it's Charlotte. Charlotte, North Carolina. This is June 18th to the 20th. I'm debating signing up for that one. I want to see. That's usually a huge show. But again, that's so early. And I'm going to be honest with everyone watching this right now. As creators, we're in a position where we don't have a lot of travel money. So any traveling event, it's a huge risk for us right now. I got screwed out of at least $600 in hotel fees, hotel room bookings, thanks to Priceline.com, who said that they were going to honor stuff. kept pushing it off. I'm still trying to argue. I might not ever do business with Priceline again. But that is the situation we're all struggling with. Should I travel or not? There are going to be a lot of creators who aren't going to feel safe going out of state this year. To Trisha's point, by summer there might be conventions, but I think a lot of people are going to stay local for conventions. So if you're like New York Comic Con might have a slower year this year because people might not want to travel to New York. There's going to be a hump of getting over being nervous about traveling, and that is certainly coming up. It's going to be a complicated year. This will not be a year that we go straight back to normal. This is going to be the year that sets up a new normal, a reboot, and 22 will be a year that'll probably feel more normal. This will not be that year. But by summer, we should start seeing these events pop up, and including July, which has been announced for the return of Comic-Con in LA. I say this is going to be greenlit. I see this going forward. I think this will be the first really, forget big, this will be the first huge Comic-Con. To Trisha's point, I think this is the first time we'll see huge numbers gathering, hundreds of thousands of people getting together. I think July will see it. I think July 4th will be a giant celebration as we're going to officially say that we have beat COVID by then and we are finally free of it. Fingers crossed, knocking on wood. That's my prediction, that we'll not only see that, but we'll see Tampa Bay Comic Con, which happens the 30th through the 1st, which Terraform Comics will be at, and Galaxy Con, which I will be at during that period. Unless Tampa Bay switches, I'm probably going to have to give up my space there for someone in Terraform to take over for me and give them books, and I'll be at 2 shows on the weekend if they could do me a solid. And, you know, Terraform's going to already have the Continuum out there. Stay tuned. We have a lot of news coming out tomorrow. You'll want to be on the news show if you want to know about the Continuum, as we're going to announce the first official team within the Continuum tomorrow during weekend. And Galaxy Con is going to be happening July 29th through the 1st. Again, I see that happening. I see this one happening. I definitely think we're going to have a Galaxy. This will be the first time I probably travel for a show, believe it or not. And Mike says, Trish and I are hopeful to travel to Iowa for HorrorCon in September. That is equally to see our friends in Iowa. And, you know, I think you'll see it. Unless, of course, you know, things can change. These are based on the information I have today, based on the fact that we have a vaccination. I see this happening. God willing, the vaccine knocks out the virus. So with any luck, you should be able to be there, and I should be at Raleigh, North Carolina. In August, we're going to see the return of MegaCon. I can't wait to get there. This is right near my birthday. I'm going to be so excited to be part of this. I'm going to put in for my panels. I'm going to be so excited to be here. The honest truth is I'm hoping that MegaCon going here forces Tampa Bay to move into June. I would love to see Tampa Bay move to June. That is a personal want. I don't think it'll happen because Tampa Bay has gone during SuperCon. We'll talk about SuperCon in a second. I haven't forgotten some shows. They just aren't listed yet, and they haven't made a decision. So that's MegaCon going to be happening August 12th through the 15th. And Atlanta Comic Con, August 6th through the 8th, which I will not be attending. It is a good show. I enjoyed it. I was debating going last year. This is just too close to MegaCon, and I don't like doing really big shows back to back, especially considering this is going to be a weird year. I'm not going to have a lot of capital to travel. I'm going to have to travel very smartly. I'm going to have to go to shows I know make the money and bring the fans. As of right now, I've got nothing to talk to you about in September. That's going to change rapidly. There's going to be a lot of shows that fill the space in September. I would expect maybe even seeing SuperCon, possibly. We'll talk about that in a second going there. In October, so far it's just Baltimore. No sign of New York Comic Con. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. Baltimore is celebrating its 21st year, and it'll be October 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I am really debating making this one of my shows. I am going to be applying for it, and I'm hoping that they allow us to pay a little later in the year, because, again, this is going to be a hard year for creators. And I'm really hoping that the shows understand that us as creators have struggled over 2020 20. We don't necessarily have the deep pockets to pay out for shows just yet. And I'm hoping they let us restart the engines. I'll be looking for a lot of local shows to be doing to try to build up. So you'll see me suddenly announcing things. I don't see anything for the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping to have some news for some February shows. Let's put it that way. COMiC CON forecast for November, nothing again. I think that will change. I think all these months are going to be super packed. I think you're going to see August, September, October, and November have conventions like we've never seen them have before, especially November. December's Reed Pop is really, really, really betting on there being a fan base to show up at Emerald City Comic Con on the 2nd through the 5th. That is right after Black Friday. I'm curious to see how that goes. I will not be attending that. I can tell you that right now. Outside of being given a guest table, I don't see myself doing that just because of the time. And then right after that, they're going to Chicago in December. It's going to be so cold. Chicago's a cold city. That'll be happening through the 10th through the 12th, just weeks before Christmas. We're going to have to see how that turns out. Given the year, I think people might actually be excited about it. Honestly, I think people might be excited about it, and I think you might see a good turnout. C2E2, that's a cold city. Because of my back, I like C2E2. I might be applying. Despite how cold it is, I like Chicago. I stayed in their what is it called? Their Chinatown, and I enjoyed the area. I enjoyed the show. I have to see. I might be doing C2E2 myself. These are to be determined. Daytona Beach Comic Con. I can't wait to hear when this is going to be there. That's going to be determined. Reed Pop's New York Comic Con, SuperCon, a few other shows that I haven't even thought of, and I know they're in the back of my head, and I have to look up my old notes from years ago to see the shows that are missing. I definitely know that New York's got to wait. There's no way Reed Pop can do New York Comic Con without New York being behind it. New York's not even looking that way. SuperCon, I think they're trying to feel out and try to either go super early or they'll go in the fall. I think it's going to be one or the other. I don't see them going into the summer. Florida's already picking up in the summer. There's a lot going on, especially in the June to the late June to early August. A lot's going on. So either I would see SuperCon being late August or maybe trying to sneak in and get in a May show. That I could see. Meredith, there's a couple words first, and then we're going to head out of here. I think I'll be looking for smaller shows. I need to pace myself for travel expenses, but also want to have some comics on my table before I actually get a table. Well, Meredith, you'll probably be on the table with us at Terraform, too. Meredith is part of Terraform, so when we have a Terraform table, you'll probably be there. And even for Tampa Bay Comic Con, if I can't go, I would definitely offer you the position first to go for me if you wouldn't mind. Try to sell my books and then sell your Continuum copies, because you'll have copies of Continuum. I don't think I would do the North in the winter. It's hard. I lived in the North. That is not easy. So it's a complicated year. I'm not going to lie to you all. This is not going to be an easy year to even cover from my point. But you should be putting in your press passes right now. Putting out your feelers, seeing about the shows, starting a plan to go to shows if you're a fan. I don't know when we'll be back. I'm not going to come on every week just to update you on the smaller stuff. We have a news program that will update you. So follow Weekended. I'll make sure that all the news for any convention will wind up on Weekended. So you tune in on Friday specifically for that. And I'll make sure that I give the Tuesday show that we do now, the Comics Market Watch, will get its own unique feeling. But for now, Weekended will, and even if we show it on the Comics Market Watch, I'll make sure to transfer it over to Weekended. And I'm going to be playing with that today, which I make sure any news, including this show, will be listed. We went a little longer than I wanted to. I just want to take a quick minute to remind you that the award show is coming up. You guys can vote right now at our Facebook group for the ICAs. We're trying to celebrate the creation that was made in 2020, because despite the odds, some creators were out there doing amazing stuff, and they should be rewarded. And the biggest award So there are awards, not rewards. They're awards, just to be clear. The biggest award goes to the fans. They get to choose who wins this year. It's all fan choice because you guys are awesome. And you kept us creating because we knew you were still out there. I seriously doubt they're going to be press passes available unless you're a major network. No, so MegaCon is open. They're open. MegaCon's back with press passes. They want the Florida shows. I see press passes. I think by July, the June-July shows will be doing press passes because we got to get back to normal. Mike James said voted for a lot of things. Thank you, Mike. You're awesome. Mike James does the best reviews, too. He should actually start a review show just for what he does. And with that, we are going to head out of here. Check us out tomorrow for Weekended. And tell us what topics you want us to explore. What are the things we're not talking about that you want us to talk about? We'll be back with the next forecast as soon as we can. We are so thankful that the D-Land and Meredith has some interviews that she'll be uploading soon from D-Land. Super exciting, so stay tuned. That was last weekend. I can't wait to have more maps like this for you the rest of the year. I hope to be back to you. If anything, I will be back. I'll come back on the February 4th Thursday just to give you an update, just to keep us up to date if anything changes or happen and we get a little more movement. I expect the next 2 weeks will show us a lot about the next few months. So I will be watching the trends and trying to bring you all the news I can. So stay tuned. I will see you at 11 for Weekended. So until then, I'm out of here. Thank you for being part of this journey through chaos to begin the COMiC CON Highway season. We're going to get through it. We'll rise past it, and we will see each other at shows sometime this year.